And you say there's a difference between the training of a commercial pilot and military pilot.
Yes.
How much difference is there?
Now let's be very careful.
The first time we brought Captain Kiboi on the show, he gave us a narration of how a plane he was flying caught fire over Mutito and Day, alafu hiyo story tukaiacha hanging.
You cannot restart it because it had fire and the people saw flames.
Yes.
You can imagine what would happen if you restart it. You may have fire and you cannot put it off.
On this episode, tunamaliza hiyo story.
You can imagine 2 engines are on one side, 2 engines are on the other. Yes, you add the power, you'll not add it to 4, but you add it to 2.
Yes, yes, yes.
What do you think the plane will do?
Captain Kiboi is a pilot with over 45 years of experience. Now, on this episode, in this conversation, we want to try as much as possible to milk as much as we can from that experience. And trust me, it's worth every second of your time.
So does it mean that at a certain level, when you dump fuel, people on the ground will feel it?
Once, yeah, I see what you mean.
Captain Peter Kiboi has welcomed us into his home to share pure good vibes on aviation business. I trust that by the end of this episode, kuna watu watakuwa hata wanajiamini kuendesha ndege.
And this direction of a runway,
Yes.
universal for everybody. Everybody comes from this side, or waheshimiwa can go wrong side.
Well,
I'm your host, Dr. Kingori, and here's another reason to stay subscribed to our channel. Kama hauja subscribe, now's a good time to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications bell.
Captain, I think our story begins with what I would call myself, correct me if I'm wrong, with one of your scariest moments in aviation.
my scariest incident
Yes.
in aviation was a flight from Mombasa to UK.
Yes.
And one of the engines caught fire. As we overflew the town of Mutito a day.
Yes.
Thereafter, another engine failed. The first one was catching fire.
Yes.
The second one was failure.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
ignition kwisha.
Na mkianza, it was okay.
It was okay. 4 of them were okay.
Yes.
And thereafter, it was a decision making to come to Nairobi,
Okay.
because Nairobi was the best place I could get help, if I may put it that way.
With the engine on fire and one
Yeah.
already failed.
Yes. One, I would be able to land the plane. Then again, I needed time from that incident to landing. I needed time to reduce the weight of the airplane. Don't forget, this plane was flying from Mombasa to over all the continent,
Yes.
yes,
To the UK.
to UK,
Yes.
London. So it had a lot of fuel.
Yes.
And I had to reduce that fuel by something called dumping. Dumping is when you choose to reduce fuel fast, because you open the tanks and the fuel start spilling out. Well, you don't do it low on altitude, simply because you are throwing dangerous item on the ground where there are people.
And some of them are smoking.
Yes.
Mm.
And that can also catch fire. So you don't do that at low altitude. You do it at high altitude in an area with the minimum people.
And how much time do you have?
That is another complication because you do not want to waste time up there because this plane is sick. So in other words, sickness of the plane is also pushing you kufanya maneno haraka.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we ended up in Nairobi area near Kajiado. Kajiado, there are less people. The population is not dense. So in other words, you find, although there are human beings around, but they are not densely populated.
Yes.
So we ended up in Kajiado area, but we were pouring fuel from Mutito a day to Kajiado.
And this has to be, you still have to maintain the flight path.
Of course, there are so many things you must maintain. You must maintain the safety of the plane.
Okay.
You must maintain the safety, or in other words, the
safety of the people downward?
fear of what the people you are carrying, passengers.
But as a captain, you also have a responsibility to tell them that they might be going to heaven.
That's right. You don't express that very much, but you mention it.
How? And at what point?
At what point is you must explain what happened on the plane. You must explain so that they have an idea at the back.
Yes, yes.
Whether they go to heaven, as you put it, or not. Now, there is something called immediate problem. There is another problem that occurs slowly. At one point, it becomes final. You make sure all that is taken care of. You eliminate any chances of final moment. You eliminate and you make sure you let them know that everything is under control.
Do you tell them the fire part?
Yes.
That kumewaka.
If you don't, it is your own problem. Simply because if a plane is on fire, you must let everybody know that it has been on fire and the fire has been extinguished and everything is okay now. Don't forget, it can recur. It is okay now as much as you believe.
Sawa. You get a notification that the engine is on fire, another one has failed.
Yes.
So what are you using? Because you need to go up.
Yes.
You need to make calculations on the immediate.
Very good. And I told you the airplane is heavy.
Yes.
Now, the heaviness of the airplane is due to passengers, due to cargo that's been put in holes and fear. Of the three, you cannot get passengers through the mouth so that the plane becomes lighter. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of the airplane and throw away the fear. The fear.
But you can't.
And that is what is called fear dumping.
And if you throw away the fuel, ubaki na yenye itatosha kufika mahali unaenda, that's another problem.
Yes, you cancel the continuation of
Dumping.
the flight. The flight destination was where?
UK.
UK, London.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you cancel that.
Okay.
The flight is no longer going to London. You must estimate the nearest the plane can make.
There's another challenge. You're going to Nairobi. There
Yes.
are other planes going to Nairobi, right? You have an emergency.
Yes. That scenario is reduced by the someone called controller.
Or you
They are
communicate.
human beings
Yes.
at the airport working in the control tower.
Mm-hmm.
And they are listening to whatever word you say.
Okay.
First of all, you tell them, what time are you estimating? Estimating. Don't forget you are pouring fuel. So your estimation time must be calculated very, very honestly
Okay.
so that they prepare the emergency equipment.
Okay.
Of course, you need fire tenders by the time you land. Now, having told them that you are no longer continuing to London, you must state very clearly what
Yes.
is the new destination.
Yes.
And the new destination is Nairobi, the safest place you can land and everybody be taken care of.
Okay.
And also there is enough landing distance. And if necessary, no complications like you are approaching over buildings. You are approaching over Notice that this is a 4-engine airplane. 2 engines are already off the air.
Mm.
And you'll be landing with plane struggling. Because you are at maximum, you'll be at maximum landing weight.
Mm-hmm. And when you have 4 engines, all these 4 engines are working in
No,
equal
no.
capacity?
2 engines are working
Are gone.
only. 2,
Mm.
one caught fire,
Yes.
the
Another
other one failed. It is
Yeah.
switched off.
Yeah, so when you in a normal circumstance, when you
Yes.
have all the 4,
Yes,
are you using only one, or you're using all the 4 of them?
you
or
are using
one?
all of them at a reduced
Oh,
power.
so when they can also work as a backup.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
So in other words, you have 2 engines against 4.
Yeah.
You must know how to handle the plane. You can imagine 2 engines are on one side, 2 engines are on the other. Yes, you add the power, you'll not add it to 4, but you add it to 2.
Yes.
What do you think the plane will do?
Struggles.
what struggle? It will try to turn rather than going forward, because two engines are on one side and the two engines are on the other side. So if you add power addition is very critical. Very critical.
So on this day,
Yes.
how did you manage to be in control and you're scared, bearing the circumstances first?
Well, I managed by praying to God. First of all, prayers. Secondly, is thinking a lot. Don't forget, I still needed power if this plane was sinking. It is heavy and it must maintain altitude. And whatever I do, I must turn. If I am going away from Nairobi, I must turn. So in other words, once you add the power, the plane will misbehave. And you must correct that by applying the flight controls in a way that the plane behaves again.
Okay, that's the technical part.
Yes.
So now, on the actual day, so how did you manage? Like, if you can go back, I know it's a long time ago, but how did you manage to put it down?
Well, I managed simply because we dumped fuel
In Kajiado?
in Kajiado area,
Yes.
Magandi, and finally I told the air traffic control the airplane is light enough now to attempt an approach.
Attempt.
Of course, you don't say, they are not, you don't tell the controller to do an approach. They already know you are in problem.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is an attempt.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So in other words, the plane was light enough, and any power I added was not behaving as badly as earlier on. The plane also had reached the fuel for maximum landing and below. So I had a feeling now I can go and try approach.
Okay, okay.
And by trial, this approach was very nice, very fine.
Okay, okay.
Maximum speed,
Okay.
yes. And because I could see everything, a sense of prayer.
Thank you. You say that when you dump fuel, you have to go to high altitudes. So
Not necessarily. I did not say that. Who said that?
you said you cannot just dump from low altitudes in terms of
I see
problems.
what you mean.
Yes.
Yes.
So does it mean that at a certain level, when you dump fuel, people on the ground will feel it?
Once, yeah, I see what you mean. Once you start dumping the fuel,
Yes.
you cannot climb. What sense would make you climb? Going where?
Oh, so you choose an altitude and then you start.
You now choose a place where you can initiate
Okay,
the dumping.
I understand.
It must be a place not populated or not densely populated. It must be a place where there are no high ground, because anything can happen. As you dump fuel, the plane may go to hills.
Ah,
You
I
don't
understand.
want that to happen.
Yes.
So you want a place low altitude, a place where there are no hills, and for a big area.
I understand.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
So when you actually succeed in landing the plane, you are
Yes.
honest enough while on the air of the situation that you actually are in.
Yes.
One engine caught fire, one engine failed.
Yes.
When you land, did you get a chance to meet the passengers?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Passengers, almost all of them, wanted to see me, wanted to shake hand.
They knew what was at stake.
They knew, as we mentioned earlier on, they were on the way to heaven.
But you brought them down.
But it brought the situation
Yes.
to
Okay.
something
To
good.
containment.
Yes.
Some people say that it is actually safer to have someone who is less experienced flying, because at least the person who knows more can give them instructions, and that could actually save a life. Is that true? Like, let's say, for example, you're in control, and then someone with lesser experience than you, they would be afraid to correct you if you made a mistake.
Yes. The being afraid would mean two things. Either they don't know, and if they know, they don't want to mention it now. There are situations where
Yes.
you allow a human being to control the scenario rather than you shouting the end product. In
Okay.
other words,
Yes.
you allow someone to drive the car without you shouting
Yes.
so that he can learn from mistakes.
But are mistakes allowed in the air?
Everywhere a human being is,
Yes.
there are mistakes. But it depends upon the end product of the mistake.
Yes. Yes.
There are some areas you can allow someone, if they don't know how to control the car, you allow them to aingie kwenye bank ili aone. But in flying,
Yes.
you don't allow mistakes like that. You correct them before they are done.
Okay. Is there a place where, in all these years of experience, you get to a place where you have mastered a route so much that it's almost muscle memory?
One thing pilots don't do, they very much take care of what you say you have mastered. Because anything can happen. Now, anything cannot happen with similarity.
Yes, yes.
Anything can happen on a very, very complex. And that is the time a pilot
Yes.
will be caught off-hand.
When
Pilots must always be ready
you must be
to
careful.
do anything. Be very careful. It is not this business of nitajaribu. No,
You don't take chances.
you don't take chances.
And now, the reason why your story is always so fascinating is your entry into a very competitive field.
Yes.
This is, we are talking about just after independence. In fact, it is actually almost soon after independence, you're into flying. From Nyeri, what was your entry?
Where I started flying in 1969,
Yes.
and that was after high school,
Yes.
and I applied for training, and I was taken in for commercial. You hear
Right
the word
after high school.
commercial?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, training.
Right after high school.
Yes, in 1969.
What was this moment that actually opened that idea for you that you could actually try out an opportunity in a field that I know
Simply because I had earlier on joined the civil aviation group as an air traffic controller. So I had an idea what these people do.
Yes,
They talk to the pilots.
yes, yes, yes.
So I decided to join the pilots
Okay, okay.
from air traffic control.
And you've watched the industry evolve over those years.
Yes. Yes.
How different are things when you left versus when you joined?
Oh, well. Things have evolved, let me put it that way,
Yes.
so much so, such that by the time I left, these things were automatic.
Okay.
You know what is the difference between automatic and manual?
For manual, you have to do most of the stuff for yourself.
Yes. With your own hands. But for practical, you can stabilize things,
Yes.
and when they are stable,
Yes.
then you put a switch on, and the plane flies itself. You just do monitoring.
Monitoring.
Yes.
And with your experience, the principles I believe are the same. And in another setting, you actually told me that the difference is the orientation. Like just to be told where the instruments are. Does this mean that having flown all those years, you can just get into any aircraft, know where the instruments are?
Now, there is also something that I did not mention called reliability. If you put engine of your car to automatic, that means so many small bits must work right. But if something is wrong, for example, you have not put enough water in your car, radiator is leaking. At one stage, water will pour out. So your automation will fail. So in other words, before you put things in automation, you must know, A, B, C, D. You must know that things are good. There's no chance of failure.
And this is in the conversation of how you left versus how you joined. Does this mean it was safer to fly when planes were manual than it is, as in the margins of safety are lower when things are automatic?
Well, no. That means your workload as a pilot is reduced by the automation. But that does not mean your capability upstairs has been reduced.
Okay.
Well, the automation means the system has taken your hands, it has allowed you to fold your hands like that. But if you fold your hands like that and you are still seated at the driver's seat, that does not mean you cannot stretch your hands.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yes. And in terms of incidents, okay, incidents is a strong word in aviation. But then in terms of, I was very curious about something called, in aviation, called a missed approach. These are not incidences that you would call a scare, but these are things that are mild scary.
Okay.
What's a missed approach?
A missed approach
Yes.
is you must know what is an approach. Approach.
Yes.
In every place you go to, every airport you go to, there is a procedure that I'll show you the place that you know best, Mombasa.
Yes.
Mombasa, there is a runway.
Okay.
I'll show you a little bit more. There is a runway
Yes.
in this direction.
Yes.
And for people to use the facilities in bad weather, fog, and be able to come and land, there is a facility called instrument landing system, or ILS. And this is the ILS for Mombasa. And you can see a specific direction.
Can show it to our audience.
Yes.
So this,
that is the direction, the compass direction.
Yes.
you are
Supposed to land from this side.
Yes.
Okay.
By use of that procedure, the direction is 211 degrees. When I mention 211,
Yes.
I hope everybody understands
Yes.
that is the direction of the compass.
Okay.
Then you fly to a facility called VOR, where you are touching. It's called Mombasa, MOV.
MOV, yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
MOV is a facility for navigation. You continue on the same heading,
Yes.
to land. Now, at the end of it,
Yes.
here, 0.6 of a mile.
Yes.
Do you see 0.6 of a mile?
This one.
At 0.6 of a mile,
Yes.
if you cannot see a facility or runway ahead of you, not there,
Yes.
here, it must be ahead of you.
And this is not instruments, physical.
Physical,
Yes.
0.6 of a mile.
This one, yes.
There is no two ways about it. You initiate the missed approach.
You go back in there.
Yep.
And
the missed approach, we'll read kidogo.
Okay.
The missed approach imeandikwa hapa chini.
yes. Climb on RWI heading 211 degrees
211,
to 1500.
1500,
1304.
Yes.
Then climbing, turn left.
Yes.
D10
Do
.0.
you see on the indicator there is a line
Yes,
from
yes.
point 6
Yes.
continuing on
Yes.
211 and then turning left
Yes, yes, yes.
back to Mike Oscar Victor
Yes.
kule
Yes.
ulipita
Yes, yes, yes.
and join the hold.
Okay.
And this direction of a runway,
Yes.
it's universal for everybody. Everybody comes from this side, or Waheshimiwa can go wrong side.
Well, if you will be flying, instrument flying, you'll know the direction of 211 cannot be flown twice. It must be flown only one way. And that is 211 on the compass.
So when you're going to Mombasa, you have to have this. So these are instructions. that-
Exactly.
and you also say you cannot cram Mombasa, that you will do it off head again.
No, you don't do it overhead. We try very much to minimize
Yes, off head.
overhead things.
Okay, 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 okay. Now, Nini, when you talk about a flight plan,
Yes,
say for example, you had an incident.
yes,
Is this what you mean? Is this what they say? You cannot plan for everything, because for you to leave Mombasa, right, and then have a problem at Mtitwandei, that's a very short distance, and all the checks had been done,
yes.
extremely well done.
Those are things that catch you. Of course, after we took off,
Yes, yes, yes.
we relaxed. We did different things.
Mm.
They were supposed to be done. But when we were doing those things, we were caught up by this engine failure.
Something you had not anticipated.
Yes.
Okay. So now you can take us through a flight plan. What that
This
actually-
is the famous flight plan.
Yes.
The flight plan means map.
The what?
Who took away the maps?
That's the map right there, or that's not the one?
No, the map.
This one?
Okay, I'll show you them through the map. This is the map of the world.
Okay.
And I hope people have an idea that this is Africa. Right here on the eastern side, there is Kenya. And if you are flying to Europe, you fly from a place called Nairobi across North Africa, across Sudan, across Egypt, into Mediterranean Sea, and they follow a given line. You don't fly anywhere. You fly along a given line. That is going to London. London is here, and you must be controlled flying there. They tell you fly a given direction. That
This line.
direction is,
This line.
yes,
And how big is this line? Is this just big enough to
it
fit
is
a
not
plane?
there. It is not there.
It is an
It
area.
is an imaginary line you have in your head. That is why so many people cannot be pilots.
Because they lack imagination.
Those are lines
Yes.
which are not drawn. I have drawn them here so that I can explain to you.
Okay.
But in real, they are not drawn.
Okay.
Okay, what you do have is all that line given in what we call waypoints. I would like you can put the map away,
Okay.
or I should show them the Kenyan one. I should show them the Kenyan one. That is for a flight to Europe. This is for a flight from Nairobi to Mombasa.
Okay.
This is Nairobi here. On the map, you should be able to read the map. This is Nairobi, and this is Mombasa. There is a line drawn here of the direction, and that line, thereafter, it has so many what we call waypoints. And those waypoints are represented here. There is a route on the map.
So waypoints technically
Waypoints
in layman's language are what?
Stopping points if you...
Yes. So if the plane was a matatu, places you would have stopped.
Exactly. Pahala ugesimama, watu wakunywe chai.
Okay.
Lakini, you can now...
I have imagination.
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
So all these are waypoints.
These are waypoints
Okay.
from Nairobi to London. Now, I want you to see
Yes.
how long the
This is a flight plan or your
this
CV?
is the flight plan. This is the real flight plan. It's been produced by a computer which has same information on the map.
This is produced before or during the flight?
Before,
Okay.
1 hour before,
Okay.
so that the pilots can take a look at the flight plan.
So ideally, let's say
Yes.
for example, there is a TOC,
Yes.
336, 338. So when you look at this while in the air, I believe
Yes.
there's a time code. So at a
No,
particular...
I said this is produced before the flight, 1 hour before the flight,
Okay.
so that the pilots
Okay.
or the crew on that flight
Okay.
can take a look at it. There is so much information in it, such that everybody must see it and they agree that it is correct.
You have to see everything before you leave.
Everything, study it. 1 hour, that's why you go 1 hour before, so that you are shown the weather in London. You have an idea what will disturb you during the flight, and then you must be given a flight plan. Now, those I would not ask you to read. All
But
those
for you,
waypoints.
you have to read, or you can just skim through.
I know them. I have known them because I've been to London. I have known very many of those points. Now, the issue is between two waypoints.
Yes.
Yeah, take a look. See the place Mwanzo. From Nairobi, there is a waypoint that we go to. I will see whether it is correct. I will see whether it's correct. If it is Lodwar, it must be Lodwar, and the distance between Nairobi and Lodwar must be correct.
Oh, now I get what
Now,
you mean.
the distance, the fuel to take me to that point must be correct. And that fuel plus others all the way up gives us the minimum fuel to London today, because the wind is blowing from the north.
Okay. Okay. And
All those fuels are added together. Ndugu yangu, do you see the figures at the end here on this line?
yes,
Do you see how many they are?
6 figures.
No.
Oh, as many. Yes.
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 That is the fuel. And here is the total to take you to London here.
This is in liters.
Read it yourself in kilograms.
In kilograms.
12,000.
Okay. 12,130
That's exactly.
in kilograms.
Fuel to take you from Nairobi to London, yes, with the conditions expected.
A pilot is not just a pilot
Yeah.
because there's a
He
place.
must learn training.
Yes, but you say commercial. You stress the word commercial.
Yes.
And you say there's a difference between the training of a commercial pilot and military pilot.
Yes.
How much difference is there?
The military pilot knows how to shoot from the plane. The civilian pilot does not know shooting from the ground or shooting from the plane.
But the skill is...
No, they are not the same. Military pilot is flying a machine which at any time can be shot down. Now let's be very careful.
I understand.
When you talk about military pilot and the civilian pilot, the civilian pilot does not know when someone will put a trigger and shoot at him.
Who can transition to whose territory? Like, is it easier for a military pilot to go commercial or a commercial pilot to join the military?
Both. The pilots, both. But each one of them will learn how to.
So this is the difference.
Well, yes, you can look at the flight plan again. There are a lot of things I would want you to see around here.
Yes, towards the end.
The starting point iko huko ndani.
Okay.
I said every stage
Yes.
from Nairobi to that point, there is a distance shown. Distance.
But
We talked about fuel. Well, I'll complicate things for you if you want.
so I have to read the whole of this 1 hour.
Oh
to the
yes,
flight.
oh yes.
As a pilot,
And
I'll only
again, you must know those distances. And they add up together at the end. So you'll know the distance from Nairobi to Cairo, if necessary, because one of those points is Cairo closest.
As a pilot, I'll only be landing in Kitengela. Kitengela inafika wapi?
Good God.
As in, there's so much to worry about. Why do I have to read the whole of this thing?
Because of the number of miles.
Kwani the computer is wrong. See, the computer has
my
already done
goodness.
this.
Oh my goodness.
What happens if I just skim through?
No. Now, again, The other bit is you are shown of the winds that affect your flight plan here.
Okay. When you talk of winds, what is turbulence? Like the plane shaking and people
Turbulence is confused air. Confused air.
no effect at all.
It has effect. What do you mean without effect?
Because pilots are always very calm about
This
talking
is
about.
confused air, and you must avoid confused air, turbulence. And you must prepare yourself for it.
You see it coming.
No, not that you see it, you feel it.
And
Turbulence.
does it have effect? A prolonged
Oh
duration
yes,
of turbulence?
it can break the airplane. What do you mean? Has it got any effect?
Because of how calm pilots always are, like, a slight need.
Of course, we fly at normal speeds. Normal. Normal speed means nearer to the speed this airplane can accommodate turbulence. Normal. Normal to what? Normal to the speed that this plane can accommodate turbulence speed.
Okay.
So you fly very close to it. So in other words, once you start feeling, of course, some other planes will have passed there. They will let you know because they tell the controller there is someone talking to you all the time. So he'll warn you, given a place, a given distance from our place, so many miles, there is reported turbulence.
Okay.
So in other words, you don't talk on the flight because you keep listening.
15 hakuna kupiga story. Like hata udaku ikikuwasha
Mwenye
hapo kwa
kupiga story will have problems becoming a pilot. Mwenye kupiga story, unfortunately, my friend Kingori likes talking. One of the things that you learn is you must reduce your talking.
So hata udaku ikikuwasha hapa kwa cockpit, like for 15 hours. See,
Yes.
I can't tell you. I'll have.
Yes, you must reduce the talking. I love talking also, but you must reduce to something standard.
It's standard
Yes.
talking. And you can't get carried away in a story. Like,
No.
ishike sana kidogo. Where pilots leave everything, the plane, there's a place you relax kidogo.
Haya, mwisho wa hiyo
End of ICAO
whatever.
flight plan.
There is another routing to the alternate. You get to London, you cannot land in London because of the weather. You go somewhere else. That is the one given there to where there is best weather.
And in terms of landing, I'm told, I know you cannot speak for any any air authority. Like there was actually a major issue that our major airline had a spot in London, a very coveted, that was actually sold. Like it's real estate for landing. Is it landing or parking of planes?
That is parking.
It is parking.
Parking.
It was sold to one of the Arab countries for Kenyans. What does that mean for Kenyan pilots?
Now that means there is something against the airline that possibly, I didn't hear of that, that the airline lost. In other words, On the parking, someone is supposed to choose the best for your customers.
Mm.
The whole thing is terminal building with the doors, exit doors. You must be able to know where are the best facilities
Yes, yes, yes.
inside the terminal.
Mm.
And the nearer you are given for parking,
Yes.
the nearer you are given for parking, the better. Your customers will be happy.
Okay.
But if the place you've been parking for years is given to someone else, and then you are told, okay, please move to a new
Terminal or a parking slot.
Yes, new parking slot. Thank you. We always know you are good enough.
So does that affect the profits of an airline?
Of course.
Kwani customers wao wamepark wapi ndio kule? Is that a factor? As in?
Yes, it is a factor. It is for your good custom with your passengers.
And did you ever have flight panics? We have people who, as they fly, they have to rationalize, they have to put themselves in a state so that they are comfortable through the flight. We have people who panic through the flight when the flight is on air. Did you ever have those? Does it get normal at some point? You always looked forward to flying?
No.
You did not look forward to flying?
As a pilot, you do not have the sensitivity. Your boss is the one who takes your sensitivity. And your boss will always select the good parts
for you. As in, it's not an equal opportunity. Like, let's say I'm afraid of heights, but I can fly the plane without looking down. Because I can just look at the instruments as long as I know how to.
Yeah, well, as long as he doesn't, he understands. Of course, your boss will understand more for you. Not doing things outside the law.
And in terms of heights, for example, you and I, will we have different experiences if we went to, let's say, the tallest building, UAP Towers, and looked down? Will we have a different experience in terms of the height?
Well, yes. As an individual, if you go to an area where you are insecure,
yes,
of course you feel it. Of course you feel it. If you go to, what do you call it? The tallest building in Nairobi.
In this case, okay, let me rephrase it. Bungee jumping, like jumping on a parachute. Having had all that experience, would you panic too? It's a different experience because in a plane, if things go bad, you're not going down alone. There's company.
There are
yes,
some things you don't do on your free time when you are a pilot.
You can't go parachuting to practice kill the fear?
No, you can't do that. There are some things you don't do. Yes.
Sasa basi, where is the fun? Hakuna, when you're driving, let me talk about us who are just ground players. When you're driving, sometimes you get comfortable kidogo, there is skidding. Hakuna experience in 45 years, things you can do with a plane, like you dance kidogo on the runway, like
no, hakuna.
Then where is the fun in your job?
There is no fun. You are controlled. There's no fun. A pilot has got law, the motherland law, foreign country law. For example, if you go to New York,
yes,
I'll be in American law as long as I'm in New York. So this chance of driving over the curb.
Let me give you a scenario. How many people were you carrying when you had the incident from Mombasa? How many people in the plane?
390. It was
Over 300.
over 300.
Over 300. Now, you have saved these people's lives. Ndege ilikuwa inawaka.
Yes.
Yes? Engine ilikuwa imefail.
Yes.
And by God's grace,
Yes.
unaenda kuland.
Yes.
And you are sure, so everything is fine.
Yes.
You can't try something you've ever wanted to try, knowing that you'll be forgiven. You've already saved their lives. Like something you've always wanted to do na ndege. Kitu ya kujaribu. You can't try as in now that's a sure bet.
No. You land safely, fast, everybody comfortable. Get out of the plane, say a prayer.
Okay.
Say a prayer. God, you helped me. Thank you very much.
I've been in an accident before. And I think I over a period of time, I would rather have walked before I boarded a matatu to school. My mother knows this. I would rather have walked, right? And in some instances, I walked. Like getting in a matatu was just a nightmare for me. Did you ever have PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, from that incident? Like how long after that how long did you get in a plane after that incident?
Well, I got on the plane very fast. I think the third day. After the issue. The third day I was already on the flight. And the issue is, there are so many things expected out of you.
Okay.
Such that you don't require any time as long as you are a pilot.
Okay.
To get out of fear.
That's a breaking news moment, right?
Yes.
Was that an advantage? Like, did you bring more customers to your airline? Oh, nani anaendesha? Huyu angushangi ndege. Was there an added value from an incident?
Oh, yes, there was added value.
Okay.
There was added in very many ways. Everybody always talked about
the heroic incident.
Yes, the heroic incident.
But you in the cockpit.
But for you, you say, God help me, you pray more.
Sawa. Now, what were the side effects of such an incident? Did you ever find yourself ukishika hizo vitu usikie kama ndege inachemuka just from PTSD or what had happened?
I know you want for me to say that I was scared.
Okay, sawa, you are unbuggable. Sawa, that's the conclusion.
But the issue is, you must know how much you'll be scared.
Okay.
How much you turn back and do the normal thing. So the issue of scared is out.
It doesn't count.
No.
Thank you.
That's it.
Asante. Mazee, asante sana for sticking with us up to this point. I hope you enjoyed our content. I trust this was time well wasted. Please feel free to join our family by hitting subscribe and turning on the notifications bell. It's free. Yeah? We have so much good vibes already uploaded on the channel. We have so much more coming through. You don't want to miss any of it. I'm your host, Dr. Kiboi, and I'll see you on the next one.